ever come back to a project a few days later and it seems like an eternity and you wondered what previous year was doing, that is where I'm at with the Drunkard's Path cushion. So I just put on the sides because I know that was a thing, but I picked up the back, and this is the back. This is the front. There's a small difference. So I think I must have been going to surround this with something. Now I haven't cut anything. I haven't got a plan. This is where you should make notes. So I have two of the fronts now finished. I am going to have to just have a new plan to make this the same size as that. I now have the zips. And I just went in and just tacked down the two loose ends together. I'm going to try and make a lapped zip. But let's get on with making this the right size. Oh, and if you just dropped into this video at random, hello, I'm Claire, this is Springworth, and there are 3 parts prior to this of making these cushions for my new sofas. And the new sofas are here, so there is an urgency to get on with this project, and I also just want to clear it off my table. I'm so mentally removed from this project, I'm not even sure if I have any of this fabric left. I have a feeling that I used it all up. So I have some of the blue and some of the heaps of black. That's just some of it. So let's measure and then cut. So this is 16.5 by 14.5. The measure's just over here, you can't see. And then I need it to be 20. Okay, so that'll make the maths a little bit easier. So I'm going to go ahead, make it a little bit too big with some sort of patchwork of black and blue spots. So I managed to fashion together just a bit of blue, 2.5 inches on either side to make the 20, and then black. And I had 3.5 and I have 4, and I was hoping to use this extra bit to lap the zipper, but when I compare it to the finished cushion, the front side, it is somehow the same size. So I'm not quite sure if my maths was off or what, but that's where we're at. So I need to regroup. I have the zip. It is not as long as the cushion because I don't need it to be that long. This length is fine for what I need. So I just have to work out how I'm gonna insert that now. Zip's another example of something I have been overthinking my entire life, potentially because the zip is in and the cushion is done. So I found this really easy method. So let's run through that and then we will find out about the foam and wrap up the project. So I'm getting the two cushions together, right sides together. And I'm just going to secure them so I know that I've got a nice corner angle. Doesn't need to be exactly perfect. Well, I want them basically just to run that edge nice and neat so it's even. So I have my zip, and for some reason I did buy dark navy rather than black. And I simply came in, I put just a couple of hand stitches in to pull the two ends together, and then I've done a quick zigzag on the machine just to make it a little bit easier to work with this end for me. Now I'm going to come in, I'm going to place it more or less where I would like it to sit, and then I'm simply going to sew the two ends together at a width just slightly larger than the side of the zip. I'm going to mark. Now on this end I'm going to have a little bit shorter because what I managed to do was to just bury the end of the zip underneath. So the end of the zip is pretty much here. I'm going to come down just a little bit, about there, and then I'll mark on the zip more or less where I want it to be, and at this end I'll do the same. Again, I want to hide the whatever the end part of the zip is, the stopper. So I'll come in a little bit beyond that. So simply I just have a line of stitches there, trying to make obviously the two sides equal, more or less. And then all I'm going to do is I'm actually going to use the edge. So I'm not going to worry about measuring. I'm happy with this kind of extra disguising the fact there's a zip there. I didn't come in, I didn't change to the zipper foot. It's just a matter of get the zip on. So this is the top. I've just switched this. So I'm going to just turn this back around. This is the top here. And just make sure you're putting the zip on the right way. So effectively what's going to happen is it's going to open like this. There's the open section. And then I'm going to put the zip in between those two. So basically it's folded in that V shape, and the V shape is going to slot into that gap. And I'm just going to come in, line up the two edges, and then I will sew a straight stitch from right at the top all the way through to the bottom of the zip. I have this one side sewn on, pretty much the same width as the other. All I'm going to do now is come in, align with the raw edge again, and then I'm going to sew the other side on. And that's it. It's done. Honestly. So the zip's up here. There's my little gap that it just tucks in ever so slightly. I could have made that slightly bigger. You could obviously come through, you could top stitch this. If you one side's quite longer than the other, you could get your zipper foot on. Would it be easier with a zipper foot? Yes, of course. Will this sit nice and flat? Yes. When I stuff it with a cushion? Potentially not. So let me go around, I'll do the edges. And there we are. So it's just like a little channel, and I think I've unlocked a whole new world of zips. So let's go ahead, get this cushion stuffed, and answer the question about that polyester foam padding stuff. So the short answer is yes, but not entirely. So if you've no idea what I'm talking about because you've not seen the other parts of this video, I got a sofa delivered too, and it came with kind of this protective padding. And I was like, can I stuff a cushion with that? And the answer is yes, but not entirely. So this is my sample cushion. Yes, you can probably recognize where it's from. What I have in here is one cushion pad and then layers of that, let's call it foam. I can't find the zip. So I have 1, 2 layers in here, but I definitely think I can do more than 2 layers. This could take a little bit extra. So I have 2 cushions pre-existing that actually have 2 cushion inserts in them. So I'm going to split those, and then I'm going to stuff this in all of my cushions. So I'm going to do that, and I'm going to come back to you with a picture of these cushions on the new sofas. Here we are then, pride of place on the new sofa. I think these are going to do pretty well, and I love how I adapted the pattern to have that elongation. Another great stash buster, and if you're wondering, no, I did not make this cardigan. I brought this at the Vinnie's Op Shop last weekend in Katoomba, and yes, I do love it. So if you know the maker, make sure they reach out to me. And I'll leave you with this little shot of the cushions.